Good morning, everyone. We welcome you to today's training that discusses about workplace sexual harassment and the law around it. The main purpose is to create awareness amongst the employees of the company. We will be going through the mentioned topics today. What is sexual harassment? Formation of ICC. How to file complaint. Who all fall under the Posh Act? So, let us understand what is sexual harassment of women at workplace with the help of an example. Samir, the team lead of a multinational organization, is known for his exceptional talent and efficiency in his role. However, his behavior towards the female employees has been a cause for concern. He often crosses professional boundaries by engaging in inappropriate physical contact and making sexual innuendos disguised as jokes. This conduct creates an uncomfortable and potentially hostile work environment for the women who work under him. Such behavior undermines the principles of respect, professionalism, and equality that should be upheld in a workplace. So, this explains that any unwelcome act or behavior in the context of work, direct or by implication, amounts to sexual harassment at the workplace. Now, let us go through a few issues that amount to sexual harassment according to the law of our country. Physical contact or advances, demand or request for sexual favors, making sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, any other unwelcome physical, verbal or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. A few other factors that result to sexual harassment are implied or explicit promise of preferential treatment in employment, implied or explicit threat of detrimental treatment in employment, implied or explicit threat about present or future employment status, interference with work by creating an intimidating or hostile environment. Humiliating treatment is likely to affect health and safety. It's important to recognize that instances of sexual harassment are not restricted to the confines of traditional workplaces. They have also seeped into the context of remote work arrangements. Here is an example of a work-from-home scenario that amounts to sexual harassment. Raj is a successful and well-networked individual who works in a multinational organization. His position allows him to exercise certain powers that he often misuses. Raj likes Simran, who works as his assistant. All the employees are currently working from home, which has led to more video calling and virtual meetings to discuss projects. But Raj has this habit of video calling Simran pretty late after working hours wearing improper clothes. At first, he used to discuss random topics, but gradually his intentions were revealed when he started giving improper hints. When he sensed that Simran was feeling uncomfortable, he tried to persuade her by saying that if she provides extra attention to him, it will help her achieve a promotion faster. To avoid his calls, Simran switches off her phone, but the following day finds threatening messages in her inbox. Simran clearly states her denial to his proposals, but he keeps insisting. Unable to avoid this situation, Simran feels intimidated as Raj might use his influence to defame her and she might lose her job. In order to maintain a healthy workplace environment, you must adhere to certain values. Our advice is, if you are willing to date somebody at your workplace, you must have a polite approach and ask for their consent. How? Ask that person if she is interested. Listen attentively to her response. Respect her decision. If she says no, then her decision must be respected. Now, let us study a few expressions which people often misinterpret and misunderstand as signs of interest. Maybe I'll let you know. Assuming her unsurety means a yes. I'm not sure about this anymore. Assuming they are confused but might be interested. Assuming that their answer is a yes when they are silent. Assuming her playful attitude means she is interested. Assuming they are interested while being intoxicated. Her way of casually flirting means she is interested. Her attire says that she is interested. In the previously mentioned scenario, Simran had declined the proposals made by Raj, but he kept insisting. This scenario is an example of power dynamics, or can also be stated as quid pro quo, which means that rewards or promotions are offered for sexual favors. If the employee declines the proposal, there are risks of punishment or demotion. So, what should Simran do in such a situation? Introducing Posh, or Prevention of Sexual Harassment, a legislation that's made to empower Simran and several others at workplaces to stand up against any form of harassment. The law states that organizations having 10 or more employees must have an internal committee which shall consist of a woman presiding officer, at least 2 members from employees, 1 external member, independent person from amongst NGO or associations committed to the cause of women, or a person familiar with the issues relating to sexual harassment. At least 1/2 of the total members must be women. Term of IC is 3 years. The members of this committee are responsible to uphold and safeguard the rights of the employees and ensure that if anybody in the workplace is convicted with the crime of sexual harassment, certain actions must be taken against him. The Posh Act requires regular training for IC members to handle sexual harassment complaints effectively. Similarly, it also mandates that the employers should regularly organize training and awareness programs for sensitizing the employees with the legal provisions. The Posh Act states that every employee in the organization shall receive guardianship from the committee. The following list specifies the roles: full-time employees, temporary workers, interns, daily wage employees, trainees, contractual workers, housekeeping, security personnel, client representatives, vendor representatives. The victim of sexual harassment or any witness can make an appeal against the accused from recommendations made by the IC, and or their non-implementation by the employer may file an appeal to the appropriate court within 90 days. Let us have a simplified look at the complaint filing process. Report the incident within 3 months of occurrence. Next, you need to register your complaint to ICC. Then, notify the respondent within 7 days and get response within 10 days. What happens if the respondent agrees? There are 2 things that can take place: either settlement or punishment. The action must be taken within 60 days of decision making. And if the respondent does not agree, then there will be an inquiry committee who will look into the matter and submit their findings within 90 days. If proven guilty, the next step will be again either settlement or punishment, and the action must be taken within 60 days. Let us now go through the consequences that the accused will have to face if the charges against him are proven. He must issue a written apology to the victim and also to the office. Certain measures will be taken to reprimand him and limit his resources. Withholding of promotion, withholding of pay rise or increments. If the act proves to be severe, then that might even lead to termination of services. The convicted must provide compensation to the aggrieved woman from his salary. Despite living in a modern society, workplace sexual harassment persists, unfairly intimidating women and shattering their confidence. Today, we saw how the Posh Act provides justice in such cases, emphasizing the need for continued efforts to create safe and respectful workplaces for all.